What's up guys, it's John Carden for Primal Performance Coaching. So today we're going to go over the conventional deadlift. And we might actually go over the sumo deadlift as well. So this is going to be a how to deadlift tutorial. So I'm going to teach you guys how I teach the deadlift. So we're going to start off with positioning onto the bar. So this is for conventional. I used to do conventional, it's what I'm most comfortable with, so it's what I'm going to teach. So let's start with foot positioning. So first and foremost, you want to walk up to adjust the bar. And we want our bar to be straight. So we'll move it up a little, move it back a little bit actually. So we find a nice flat, straight point. Now, we're going to talk about foot width. Now, a good rule of thumb is something inside shoulder width for a conventional deadlift. Anything outside feels really funky, and you're better suited for a hybrid stance or a sumo stance. So you want to be inside shoulder width. The more mobile you are, or the better, or the longer your legs are, I found, you want to be closer together. So I go fairly close. So I'm deadlifting about 2 to 3 inches apart from my heels, with a slight turn out of the feet. Now the other thing you want to work on is how far away from the bar you are. So you don't want to be right drilled up to the bar before you even lift it, because what's going to happen is you're going to come down, it's going to shoot off your knees, and it's probably going to be a little bit too far out the bar. So what you want to do is go for about a mid-foot placement. If you have really long legs like I do, you actually want to be a little bit further forward than that. So I'm going to come, find my foot position. I'm going to set at the top. So always, you don't have to set your lats like crazy, but set them nicely. Get the rib cage in good position. Take a nice deep breath before you go down. You're going to bend your knees slightly. You're going to hinge down like an RDL, hinging into the bar, really bending those, reaching for it. Reach into the bar, push your shins in, wedge your back, weight on the heels, see how it comes off the ground a little bit. Pull forward, and then on the way down, make sure everything's tight. Hinge down, bend the knee, and then you're going to repeat. So, we'll break it down even further. Now we'll break down the startup a bit. So again, we found that nice foot position that works for us. Now we're going to create that lifting wedge. And the biggest component of the deadlift is that lifter's wedge. Everything else, how you pick it up, how you put it down, is all determined by the lifting wedge and the position of the lifter's wedge. So the lifting wedge is this position. If your butt here would be the middle of your hips, your upper torso, and your knee. And you want to create a nice, really solid wedge, and weight shifted on the back. So that way you put yourself right in the center of gravity of the bar. The bar will be about here, shoulders are right there, and your torso is really strong because spinal flexion is a limiting factor of your deadlift. So whether you round or not is going to greatly determine how much you can deadlift. Or if you're a rounded back deadlifter, that's fine. But breaking down into more spinal flexion is going to be what limits your lift. Almost do for the deadlift. So the goal is to put yourself in the most advantageous position as possible. Now, depending on how you hip hinge, that can look very different. But we're going to go over more the setup of the basics of the wedge, and then obviously you can adapt this to your technique if you're doing hybrid or sumo, as opposed to conventional. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up again, feet in the right spot, that wedge there. Now, the reason why we start with that RDL position is it allows us to create that wedge. See how I'm in that nice wedge position now? Get nice and tight, and then I'm just going to bend, reach for the bar, bend my knees to keep in the wedge, and then rock back a little bit, wedged up, and boom. And then we're just going to come down with good control, maintaining our wedge, hit the wedge, boom. And that is how you properly lift this wedge for a conventional. You also want to apply these wedge techniques for sumo, but it's going to be a little bit different. So for sumo, we're going to get in here and get into our nice wide stance, and you want to rotate out your knees like you would on a nice banded velvet squat, pushing the knee out, pushing the knee out. You're going to sit into it. You're going to sit into it, sit down. So I have that wedge still. I'm going to reach for the bar, hop into my wedge, boom. The same would be for hybrid. I actually can't do hybrid, so I won't demonstrate it. Now we're going to talk about from the knee up. So many lifters, you've done a great job wedging, you're going to get to here, then you're just going to keep using your back and your hips, and you're not going to walk in a position similar to this. What we're looking for is something more explosive and something more controlled. Now I call it the knee snap. Now at this point, I'll show you guys from the side. My lifters are going to be here. They're going to go like this. Everyone says hips, 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 hips. Hip goes like this, pops up like that. Makes it extremely hard to walk out of the top. Now, watch this. You're going to go up, get to here, knee and hip at the same time, almost like a pendulum. And see how I'm not overextending. Everything's solid. The back's not becoming overextended. Everything's in a nice, strong positioning. Yeah, and boom. So I'll show you that with a bar and more full speed. So we'll set up, get nice into the bar, do our wedge, and then you'll see there how the knee and the hip simultaneously snap. And that creates that solid lockout. With sumo, you want to do something very similar. Like I said, and you're going to be, you want those hips in nice and tight to the bar. You're just going to drive up and snap. Same thing. Sumo, you're almost squatting off the ground, and you're snapping at the top. So I hope this helps you guys if you're deadlifting. Hope these little tricks help you. Oh, and another trick as well is the lat tightness. Now, everyone thinks pull the shoulder blades. That's bullshit. Yes, your upper spine should be fairly straight. There should be some tension in the rhomboids, but the lat is a huge ass muscle and it should be used. The lat is going to help stabilize and keep everything nice and solid. So there's two things you need to do to activate your lats in a deadlift. Thing number one, once you set up, you're going to push that bar back in against your shins to squeeze the lats this way. And then as you set up, watch my elbows are going to twist inward and create that opening in the chest, like so. And that's a very upper back positioning. So use those 3-4 keys, and I guarantee you, your deadlift